the globalization of human rights is indeed a very interesting development that we sociologists have to analyze and take seriously. So my first task is to try to understand what do we mean by this globalization of human rights, the fact that religious freedom has become indeed, or is becoming indeed, a universal aspiration. But the fact that religious freedom is becoming universal aspiration doesn't mean that religious freedom means necessarily everywhere the same thing. It may mean different things in different contexts that may be in conflict with one another. So when we defend the principle of religious freedom, we have to be very careful in trying to implement with concrete policies that may be in conflict with somebody else's understanding of religious freedom. Because if there is indeed a clear process of globalization of individual human rights, there is also a growing global trend of mutual recognition of cultures around the world. We are increasingly aware of the need, if we are going to live all of us together in the world, to recognize that different cultures have a right also to protect themselves from imperialist, from perhaps too aggressive attempts to change them, or even to eliminate them. Somebody raised the issue, what about the extinction of ongoing religions? When is there my right to proselytize in conflict with the right of groups to protect their culture? And we have to take these two principles maybe in tension with one another. Now, on the one hand, what is interesting is that it's only, as we heard in the previous session, only in the last 15 years that there is a global movement, not only in the United States, but elsewhere, to expand the principle of religious freedom. Now, the principle itself, of course, is very old, at least since the Declaration of Independence in the United States, when it was basically already inscribed in the Bills of Rights of many of the colonies, and then in the First Amendment with the free exercise of religion, but also in France, when the Constitutional Assembly, or actually the National Assembly, proclaimed the Declaration of the Universal Rights of Man. But even there you see already that the American Declaration and the French Declaration, those are the two key modern declarations of principles of universal human rights, have been in tension for a very long time. So we have to be careful about how we try to understand the implementation. Now, we heard that the Catholic Church actually took probably 150 years. For 150 years, the Catholic Church immediately attacked the Universal Declaration of the Rights of Man as being against God, against the Church, and against dignity. And yet, in the last 40 years, the Catholic Church has become one of the carriers, global carriers, of the principle of the sacred dignity of the human person. Now, it was one of the founders of my discipline, sociology, Emile Durkheim, that already about 100 years ago prophesied that the cult of the individual, that the sacralization of the human person was becoming the religion of modernity. But he misunderstood when he thought that the old gods were dying and the new God, this new religion, would emerge substituting the old gods. He did not understand that actually the old gods were being reborn, and this is what has happened with the Catholic Church, by becoming the carriers of the new religion. So the Catholic Church becoming the carrier of this sacralization of the human person is, of course, one of the ways in which the Catholic Church has been revitalized.